about Murdoch being Donald Trump's enemy, but also Murdoch owning Fox News.
I mean, Steve Bannon really gives the game away there. He's saying, you know, we keep essentially coming up with these distractions. We have Tulsi Gabbard coming out and delivering this whole speech about how Barack Obama is a traitor and throwing out all these intelligence documents, or we're doing all these other distractions. And then those can't even get a day to get going before the Wall Street Journal comes out and quashes them. In this case, with this bombshell report that Trump was told he was in the files. And so, I mean, I think there are a lot of distractions out there. The administration, we know, is throwing out, I mean, it's almost like they've thrown out too many. They've made it too obvious. Everything from we're going to put real sugar back in Coke to the Washington Commanders and now to this. You know, I don't think it's working. I mean, I think the administration has given its allies in the right-wing media enough footholds that they can try to pivot. Steve Bannon was someone who was trying to, you know, we got to find out the truth about Epstein originally, but now he's gotten on board with the administration. I should note, Steve Bannon has 15 hours of interviews with Jeffrey Epstein that he's not releasing, so he could go a long way towards revealing it himself. And but I think the grassroots really, they want to know the truth about Jeffrey Epstein, and that's why they're trying to get the answers.
Are they being accused of being a part of the cover-up now? As you said, Steve Bannon has 15 hours of interviews with Jeffrey Epstein. DOJ still has piles and piles of records regarding Jeffrey Epstein. You have some Democrats who are trying to file suit to get the information from Jeffrey Epstein's estate. I mean, they have all of this, and they have the ability to redact. I mean, the FBI has done a lot of redactions already. Are the voters, or is the base that's demanding this, are they now looking at Donald Trump and his administration and wondering, wait a minute, are the guys that told me that they were going to uncover things now covering them up? And if so, why?
You know, there's not polling on this, but I think we're seeing anecdotally people are turning against Trump. The QAnon shaman, people may remember from January 6th with the horns, he's become dissatisfied with Trump. He's saying Trump is covering it up. So you know, I do think there's some unrest out there despite the administration's attempts.
The QAnon shaman makes his triumphant return. Oh, God, Hannah, on that note, I'm going to bring you in. But first, I'm going to play, here's an interesting note from Tim Burchett, and it'll tell you why this is so hard for the administration right now. Let's play it.
She is a liar, and she's a dirtbag.
So why subpoena her if you can't trust her?
Well, because the one thing we got holding over her head is if we find out she lies, she goes back to her original sentence. And that's looking at lifetime. And if she's looking at maybe parlaying this into reducing her sentence, then we could have some leverage there.
What would you ask her?
I want to know the chain. I want to know the money. I want to know the people involved. And all gloves are off.
So he's talking about Ghislaine Maxwell and the subpoena to have her testify or get her testimony for Congress. I mean, he's saying that, you know, she's going to still face life in prison unless she sings. I mean, Hannah, she already faced this. I mean, she could have offered information to the government to get a reduced sentence, to get a plea deal. She didn't do so. So I don't understand how Republicans believe they can suddenly trust her now.
This is the most interesting development, I would say, her testimony that could come in the next few days. The other thing we have to consider is that Trump could pardon her. So she's in a tricky position right now. Like, there's so many different motivations here that maybe they're using her testimony to cover something up, or maybe her testimony is going to be another bombshell just because she's in prison, so she has nothing to lose. This one, to me, is, you know, the most interesting thing that could happen and turn the story one way or another.
So what happens if, and again, we're looking at the podium, not a podium, a bunch of microphones in front of the prison in Tallahassee. That's where Ghislaine Maxwell is. It's where Todd Blanche is interviewing her right now. And hopefully he comes out and he speaks in front of reporters. We're going to see if he does. What if, Hannah, he comes out and says, Ghislaine Maxwell completely exonerated Donald Trump and we're going to pardon her?
You probably get a few more rounds of, is that true? Are they lying to us? I mean, that's the problem with the runaway train, as someone put it earlier. Like, until we see the documents, and even if seeing the documents might not put an end to it, but this particular conspiracy of a cabal of pedophiles is a bottomless pit. So we couldn't guarantee to anyone that that would put an end to it. But if she said that, then they literally opened every page of those files, and all you found was what we know so far, which is that, yes, Donald Trump knew him, knew Epstein, they were sociable, but he wasn't particularly implicated in any of his specific crimes.
By the way, this is the courthouse, not the prison. Oh, and there goes the courthouse. What about that? Do you agree with Hannah?
Oh, and I would add, this is a problem that's 10 plus years in the making, I think, for the Republican Party. If you remember that Tim Alberta book, American Carnage, he has this chapter about the year 2014. Excellent book. And in 2014, John Boehner, when he was Speaker, goes to meet with Roger Ailes, the late Roger Ailes, when he was then running Fox News. And he realizes when he's meeting with Ailes that, oh, man, this guy actually believes a ton of conspiracy theories and has been in this echo chamber along with the viewers, whereas Rupert Murdoch didn't so much, but he only saw the ratings. And this is where, when you talk to these Republican operatives on background and anonymously, they start to get a little agitated about how the cart leads the horse here.
How does it fall? I mean, do you have a lot of Republican lawmakers who do, like Roger Ailes, as Tim Alberta suggested, do believe the conspiracies? Or are they people who see the ratings, see the voters, and say, you know what, if I keep feeding this thing, I'm going to amass more power. I'm going to get more people coming out to elect me. I can use this to my political advantage.
Yeah, and this is where I think it gets out of control because...
Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. So, what did Donald Trump's attorney and Jeffrey Epstein's key accomplice talk about today? That's the question everyone seems to be asking after today's meeting between Ghislaine Maxwell, the convicted child sex trafficker who procured and groomed girls as young as 14 to be raped by Epstein and others, and Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, who was elevated to that role this year after working as Trump's personal criminal defense attorney last year. It is a completely abnormal, transparently suspicious meeting between Epstein's closest confidant and fixer and the number 2 law enforcement official in the country who is absolutely loyal to Trump, and who, along with his boss, Attorney General Pam Bondi, signed off on a DOJ memo not even 3 weeks ago, saying nothing in the government's Epstein files warranted further investigation or prosecution, and no further disclosure of those files would be appropriate or warranted. And yet, Blanche rushed to set up this personal interview today with Maxwell, who is serving out a 20-year sentence in federal prison, barring some sort of deal with the government or commutation or pardon. Now, we don't know if that's what they talked about. We do know that Maxwell's attorney emerged from the interview in a good mood.
First, we want to thank the Deputy Attorney General for being so professional with all of us and for meeting with us. He took a full day and asked a lot of questions, and Ms. Maxwell answered every single question. We don't want to comment about the substance of the meeting for obvious reasons, and we'll go from there. So thank you all so much.
That's Maxwell's lawyer. We didn't hear anything from Trump's lawyer. Deputy Attorney General Blanche, except a brief social media post saying his interview with Maxwell would continue tomorrow. Now, to be clear, this meeting, the number 2 at DOJ and a convicted felon in prison, is a complete violation of every DOJ protocol or norm, right? This never happens. And it comes as we learn more details about Donald Trump's very well-documented friendship with Epstein. The president is still struggling and failing to control a story that he once had successfully buried and even during the campaign magically turned on its head. But now it's spiraling away from him. From the lascivious birthday letter Trump reportedly sent Epstein saying, "We have certain things in common, Jeffrey. Enigmas never age. May every day be another wonderful secret," written inside a drawing of a naked woman, to the new reporting that Bondi informed Trump back in May that his name appeared in the Epstein files multiple times. And this week, a video resurfaced from a 2010 deposition of Epstein in which he is asked about partying with underage girls with the future president of the United States. And well, you'll see, he declined to answer.
Have you ever had a personal relationship with Donald Trump?
What do you mean by personal relationships?
Have you socialized with him?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
Last night, a lawyer for hundreds of survivors of Epstein's abuse told Lawrence O'Donnell that the scrapbook containing that birthday card, which Trump has said is a fake thing and is suing over, could in fact be released to the public.
Do you know that the estate, the relatives of Jeffrey Epstein, in effect through their lawyers, are in possession of that birthday book?
Yes, I know that the executors of the estate are in possession of that book. And I think that after they turn it over, it should probably be set in the Smithsonian as an artifact at this point in time. It's going to go down in history so that the world can see this book, and they'll know who were Jeffrey Epstein's best friends at the time.
On top of all of that, a new report by the Wall Street Journal just out about an hour ago says that the book also included birthday greetings to Epstein from Bill Clinton and Vera Wang and other luminaries. Now, that story also revealed there are digital copies of that book, and they were reviewed by DOJ officials. As all this pressure has been mounting, we seem to be watching the Trump administration hatch a plot to escape from it right in front of us, and it's hard to see it as anything else.
Folks, you could see there that we have to be cognizant of what could happen here. I'm not automatically one of the people who's like, this is guaranteed to only benefit Trump, because again, the whole discourse was that Trump was in control of this conspiracy and he was using it to dog walk his base. And for many years, he did do that. And then all of a sudden, on a dime, like in a matter of days, it went from, oh, they gave all the binders out and they're finally going to get all the sickos, right? To his base ignited in a weeks-long civil war while uniting Democrats on the issue at the same time. And uniting like 90+% of the population, that means Democrats, Republicans, Independents, everybody, in saying whether or not they like Trump, they want to know, they damn well sure want to know more about the list, who's on it, what's it about, all of that, right? And so him, or his team at least, under his, desire, right, let's be clear, having a meeting with Ghislaine Maxwell or whatever, is not guaranteed to only benefit Trump. Because the dum-dums around Trump have made mistakes before. But do keep in mind that they could. Like say, well, what's in it for her? What if, for advantageous testimony, Trump gave her immunity or gave her a pardon, gave her years off her sentence? That is possible, is it not? And so we do have to be careful. What people have made very clear is that this woman is no victim, right? She was a co-conspirator, and with the exception of Jeffy Boy himself, she was the main culprit. As much as we're talking about, all the men that are on the list and they are monsters, she's above them and right up there with Jeffrey in terms of what happened in this scandal. And do not forget that. And don't forget how this could be used to help this monster.